Okay, so what we're going to do is going to work on hitting up on the some curved walls from basically our structure before. What I'm going to do is hold shift to make a duplicate of this map node, double click on it, and then go into our new one. We're going to use this round image as our next reference. This is great because it has the actual barrier walls and it has some curved walls we can actually build off of here. I'll probably start with the barrier walls to kind of get an idea, and then see if I can make modular walls off of this shape. So go ahead and stick this left output node into the diffuse, and there's that. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Since I'm starting new walls, I'm going to start with hiding the old ones, except for the base. I'm going to keep the base, actually. I'm going to build off of that. So we have our base structure here. It looks like I don't have a full square map, so let me show you something that's really cool. I'm going to open up the floor plan, and I think it's frozen. It is, but I can click on here and I should be able to access it. Maybe not. Unfreeze all. Alright, so I have this the ground plane selected, and what I want to do is actually make the map fit. So what I'm going to go here is I'm going to go to the regular UVW map modifier. It has this cool feature if you're trying to match the actual aspect ratio of your image. This is not square, which makes it frustrating. So what I'm going to do is go into bitmap fit and pick the bitmap that I want, and bam, now the actual map coordinates are the aspect ratio of the image, which makes it a little bit cleaner. I'm going to go into my sub object here and just slide this over to where it's more centered. And if I need to, I can just scale it. It's no big deal. I'm not too worried about it, not for this particular tutorial. So what I'm going to do now is just going to take this basic wall structure here, and I'm just going to add some segments to make a curve. And then I can do the same thing by adding a window and a door, but we'll take those in two different steps so you can kind of see what's going on. So first things first, let's go ahead and just get the basic curve set up, and then I'll do another video and we'll add a door for it and then go on from there. So this scene is set up, so we'll do several videos off of this. So I'm going to hold shift and just clone this thing out. I want to make it a copy and not an instance. Make it a different color if my mouse will respond. This is going to be wall, this says base 04, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to call this, instead of base, I'm going to call it curve. And then this will be 001. Actually, we'll go ahead and use programming terms and make it 000. But we need to add some segments. So I'm going to hit Alt-Q to hide this thing, isolate it. Because if we add a bin now, and it's the right click and it'll be the parametrics, show buttons, and we're adding a bend. You go ahead and change the angles up. So that's not at all what we're after. Change that to Y. So that's going to be a little bit more appropriate. Now, we could add a ton of segments to our box. But that's not what we're going to do. This isn't efficient, and right now we're still just in placeholding mode. We still haven't even got an idea of what our full structure looks like yet. So let's just keep it at 5 to keep it nice and clean and simple. So let's go ahead and get out of the isolate mode, and I'm going to slide this thing over here, and we'll just move it later. But let's go ahead and get it started at this starting point. And I'm going to show you an array tool, and that should probably handle this video for the real quick. And the array tool will allow us to actually move the object around. So I'm going to freeze the floor plan real quick. No, I can't move that. So let's change the bend just a little bit. Alright, so I think the array will work. The array may be a little tricky, so kind of pay attention a little bit and see what I'm doing here. The array tool is going to work off the pivot point. The array tool is here. Gives you a pop-up window. You can still do an action while this thing is running, so that helps a lot. I'm going to go off the center of this circle here, which would be tough to grab. It's going to be right there. I'm going to move my pivot point because that's how this is going to work. So I go to Insert. I go into my what I call the monster. It's the hierarchy panel. Click on Effect Pivot, which is the Insert key, just for shortcut references. Slide this right here. And now, I'm turn that off. Let's go to Preview. And what we're going to do is see if we can move this thing around. I think we need to rotate it. Where's rotate? And so we can rotate this around. So it's not quite perfect. And when it's more than 10, or less than 10, excuse me, And so from here, I can actually see what's going on with my bin and see how kind of is affecting it. Now, I'm going to make these all instances. What that allows me to do right now is it allows me to change my bin modifier. You see how it affects and try to get that curve a little bit tighter. I think what I may need to do is make the box a little bit bigger, or I can extend where everything's at and kind of rotate. But we're kind of getting close there. This is just allowing me to actually get all my pieces pretty straightforward and adjusted the way I need them. So let's do 50. I have a little bit of a flowering there, which I'm okay with right now. But this is just an idea to kind of get me set up. I'll probably do a cleaner version here in a little bit. But that's how I can get a curved wall and a basic tower set up. So we'll move on to the next video.